Yeah, we are starting the session at 3. We'll start now. Or we are waiting.
Just a minute, sir.
Yeah.
We can get started, sir. We can get started, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar on e-invoice and GSTR-3B related changes. So why I'm saying e-invoice is uh, this is something which is coming up very soon, 10 crores and above. Though it is not specified, I thought I should give a small feedback that there are a lot of people who are not aware about the e-invoice. And if your turnover in any of the previous financial years is exceeding 10 crores, it is mandatory that you have to do e-invoice starting from October this financial year. At the end of the session, we'll just have a few discussion points as to what are the do's and don'ts about e-invoice, what you should know. However, we are going to have a full-fledged session on the e-invoice. But main focus of today's session is on the GSTR-3B, wherein we would be addressing on what are the changes that have been proposed in 14/2022 and a circular which has been issued thereafter. How you will be filing GSTR-3B in the new regime, what is the documentation that you need to have it. With me, I have my colleague Bharati who will be taking you. And my name is Venugopal. I'm a practicing chartered accountant. I've been in practice since 20 years and I take care of GST and technology automation. Right, that's me, what you're seeing on the screen. Without wasting much time, let us get on to the session. Bharti, can you share your screen?
Yes, sir. Sharing my screen.
Yeah. Just to introduce Bharti, Bharti is uh, the account manager in GSTZen, and she takes care of onboarding the clients, especially if there are any complicated accounts where you have multi-state GSTNs, and if you are a CFO, you want to have a view of what are your customers and the vendors, whether they have filed on time and all those things. She has solutions for various automations, and that's what she do. And she's going to take you the whole session about how the GSTR-3B is changed and what is that you have to do. Feel free to interact, ask questions, because this being a webinar, we expect you at the end of the session get as much as clarity that you require about the 3B filing, because this is day in, day out. Every month we file the returns, and this has to be accurate. So our intention is to give you as much knowledge as possible that we have and clarify all your doubts. Over to you, Bharat.
Okay. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, very much.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Bharti, and I'll be taking you through the changes that are proposed for GSTR-3B. They were supposed to be implemented this time around, but as we can see, they have not been implemented in GSTR-3B yet. We expect them to be implemented by August. So let's go through them. So what will we be covering throughout the webinar are the changes proposed, their impact. We'll compare that with the old 3B, and we'll try to explain how the changes that are proposed are going to impact through examples. So our speaker is CA Venugopal Gella and myself. Venu sir is an expert on GST. He has contributed a lot towards drafting of various forms and rules. He has also played a vital role in designing of e-invoices specifications. Okay, so before going over to GSTR-3B, let me tell you a little bit about GSTZen. So we provide various filing services, reconciliation services, and other tools. So we provide filing of GSTR 1, 3B, 9, and 9C, And our reconciliation reports include books versus GSTR 2A or 2B. We have a consolidated report wherein we give the comparison between GSTR 1, 2A or 2B and 3B. We also provide eWebel report. We have some free tools available, which are JSON to Excel, validators, and some Chrome extensions.
I just want to add one point in the previous slide.
Yes.
Friends, today most of us have been using a department utility in filing GSTR 1 or 3B. Nothing bad about it. The only challenge that I have noticed over the periods of the practice is there are a lot of Excel files which you have used for working. And when the audit happens, either you get a notice under section 65 or an ASMT 10 under 61. Suddenly some information has been called for, say 2 and 3 is not matching, or this is an eWebel data, this is not matching. So then when you go back and see in the books of accounts, let's say Tally as an accounting example as a books of accounts, the data which is there in the books of accounts versus the data which is filed is not matching. And the working papers are in multiple places. I am a practicing chartered accountant, but I have been a biggest advisor to everyone saying that use technology. Use some tool to have an automation in simplifying work or having controls in the way you are working. So that is where usage of a software like a GSTZen, that would help. And to know who are the users or what type of clients using by GSTZen, you will be seeing the GSTZen is being used from all sorts of, you will find a mom and pop store to a listed company. Next slide, but is you will actually have, there are listed companies using it, the 30,000 users who are using the application. And GSTZen is an approved routing service provider in the e-invoice. So there are a lot of invoice gets generated and processed. Around 20 crore invoices are there in the database that got processed. So that's the little bit numbers on the GSTZen. And most of the users, why they hook on to the GSTZen is the reports. The lakhs of reports that are downloaded. We finance professionals again, we love Excel. You know, we cannot imagine a day where I am not working on Excel. So all these installation reports, whatever which I have said, which you are getting from the notice, be it books versus 1 or books versus 2A, all these cross-reference linking reports, you will get in an Excel in a click of a button. And that is what most of the users use. Not just the users, a lot of department officers use the reports of GSTZen during their audit analysis. Yes, but.
Okay. So as Venu sir has gone through, we have many users from all walks of life and lakhs of reports are downloaded. We have more than 20 crore invoices in our database. Okay. So now let's move on to GSTR-3B. Before moving on to the changes for GSTR-3B, let's understand what GSTR-3B is. Okay, Form GSTR-3B is a self-declared consolidated summary return of both inward and outward supplies, which is required to be filed by a registered person electronically on the GST Common Portal. Under Section 39 of the CGST Act 2017, a registered person is required to file GSTR-3B monthly, but it also provides for a certain class of people that the government may notify and they can file the GSTR-3B quarterly, which is the people who are under QRNP. So they can file their GSTR-3B quarterly, but they still have to pay the tax liability monthly through form PMT 06. Okay, so now let's move on to the changes. So by notification 14/2/2022 dated 5th of July, the changes that are proposed are introduction of a table 3.1.1, wherein the supplier the registered person will have to show the supplies made through e-commerce operator. This will in turn affect table 3.2, which is changes in reporting interstate supplies, and then there are changes in table 4. So table 4a to table 4d, there is change in the context of reporting of value. The fields. Okay, now let's take a look at how it impacts table 3.1. So earlier, all the outward supplies and the inward supplies liable to reverse charge were shown in table 3.1. Now, all the supplies other than those covered in 3.1.1 will be reported in 3.1. So the outward supplies have been segregated in table 3.1 and table 3.1.1. So in table 3.1, there is outward taxable supplies other than zero rated, nil rated, and exempt. Then in part table 3.1b is outward taxable supplies zero rated. C is other outward supplies, that is nil rated and exempted. And D is inward supplies liable to reverse charge. E is non-GST outward supplies. Earlier, before introduction of 3.1.1, the supplies through e-commerce would be reported in table 3.1c, that is under outward supplies nil rated and exempt. Now these will be reported in 3.1.1. So now let's look at what exactly are those supplies. Okay, so the supplies that are made under section 9 subsection 5 under the CGST Act, it includes services such as transportation of passengers by radio, taxi, motor cab, maxi cab, motorcycle, accommodation in hotels, housekeeping, plumbing, supply of restaurant service. People involved that are impacted are the suppliers, such as what we have listed, cab drivers, hotels, and online service providers. The medium through which these supplies are supplied, that is Ola, Uber, Make My Trip, Urban Clap, Swiggy, etc. Okay, so how are these supplies reported? So in table 3.1.1 part 1 is for e-commerce operator. So if I am the supplier, I am supplying my services or goods through e-commerce operator, those supplies will be in table 3.1.1. Table 3.1.1 part 1 will be auto-populated by e-commerce, whatever e-commerce has listed in its return. So the separate disclosure of tax paid by e-commerce operator under section 9 subsection 5. In table 3.1.1 part 2, it is for the registered supplier where he'll show his outward supplies. Okay, so whatever is reported in table 3.1.1 should not be included in table 3.1. Okay, so this is what table 3.1 looks like. Table 3.1.1 looks like. Details of supplies notified under subsection 5 or section 9 of Central Goods and Services Tax Act 2017, corresponding to provisions in Integrated Goods and Service Tax, Union Territory Goods and Service Tax, States Goods and Services Tax Act. So part 1 is taxable supplies on which electronic commerce operator pays tax, and part 2 is taxable supplies made by the registered person through electronic commerce operator on which electronic commerce operator is required to pay tax. So part 1 will be populated by e-commerce operator and part 2 will be given by the registered supplier. Okay, now let's look at table 3.2. In table 3.1, all supplies including interstate supplies have to be declared and there is no change in this regard. Now looking at table 3.2, all the details of interstate supplies made to the following person have to be shown separately: the unregistered person, composition taxpayers, and UIN holders. Now, an e-commerce operator paying tax under section 9 subsection 5 also have to show the details in the interstate supplies in table 3.1. Earlier they were not showing it, now they have to show it. Okay. So now let's move on to table 4. So these are all the changes that have been made in table 4. So if you look at table 4A, it includes ITC available. 3A1 is import of goods, then import of services. Then the third is inward supplies liable to reverse charge, and then inward supplies from ISD. 4A5 is all other ITC. Now 4B, there has been a change in 4B. Earlier it was just reversal under Rule 42 and 43 of CGST SGST rules. Now it includes Rule 38 and Section 17 subsection 5, and 4B is other reversals. 4C remains unchanged. 4D is changed from ineligible ITC to others. 4A1 would be ITC reclaimed, which was reversed earlier under 4B2. So that is the temporary reversal now being reclaimed. The others, 4B2 is the ineligible ITC under section 16 subsection 4. That is the ITC restricted due to POS and ITC restricted due to POS provision. 4D2 is actually what is listed in your GSTR-3B as ineligible. So in GSTR-3B, there are two types of credits, one which is eligible and one which is ineligible. So eligible will be 4A5 and ineligible will be 4D2. Okay, so if we compare them simultaneously, you can see that there are changes in 4B1, 4D1 and 4D2. So it also causes a change in how the values across all these fields are calculated. Like, let's look at all of them one by one. So now if we look at table 4B1, it includes all the permanent reversals. So those reversals are under Rule 38, that is banking companies, wherein they can only claim 50% of their ITC in GSTR-3B. Rule 42 and 43, where ITC ITC cannot be claimed for goods used for other than business purposes, and ITC claiming of ITC under for capital goods. So then there is section 17 subsection 5, wherein ITC cannot be claimed on like membership of club, where it is given to the employees, health fitness centers, or travel benefits during leave. Okay, now 4B2 includes temporary reversal. Okay, so this is what if you do not get the delivery of goods, you might not want to claim the ITC for that in that month's 3B. So that will be your temporary reversal. So it can be reclaimed later on. So this will be reported in table 4B2. All the reclaimable reversal of ITC to be shown here, like non-payment of consideration within 180 days, goods not received, or tax not paid.
Yeah, Bharti, I just want to add a point here. Is so the friends, if I have to tell the key change to the earlier to now, ineligible credits we were showing in table 4D earlier, 4D1 for 17.5 and 4D2 for others. So now the government has made a contextual change. They said, report all the credit in your 4A5. What you think is ineligible, you report it in 4B. So all the input tax credit has to come to 4A5. जो क्रेडिट आपको मिलना नहीं चाहिए has been into two categories. अगर आपको लगता है कि ये क्रेडिट हमेशा के लिए नहीं मिलेगा, that we call it as permanent reversal. You have availed it, but you should not avail it, so put it in 4B1. You have availed it, but you don't want to take it now, you want to take it later, you put it to 4B2. So it is a contextual change of taking the credit. So that is why you got to be aware. I'm stopping and reiterating this point again. Yeah. Yes, but please go ahead.
Okay. Now, moving on to the next change. So what will be reported in table 4A5? Okay. Changes in reporting of input tax credit. So 4A minus 4B1 and 4B2 will be the eligible credit to be credited in ECL. So as Venu sir was saying, all the credit which is there will be reported in table 4A, and all the ineligible credit reversal, all the reversals will be in table 4B. So either it's permanent or temporary, both kind of reversals will be in 4B. So all the eligible all the credit will be reported in 4A and the reversal will be in 4B. In table 4D1, so you would have whatever you are reporting in 4B2 is a temporary reversal. Let's say you have reversed something in April. Now you want to reclaim that. So anything that you are reclaiming will be reported in 4D1, and that will add to 4A5. So 4A5 is the eligible ITC as per your GSTR-2B. As I was saying, in GSTR-2B, the ITC is reported either as eligible or as ineligible. So the total ITC reported as eligible in GSTR-2B will be auto-populated in 4A5, and whatever you're reclaiming in 4D1 will be added to that 4A5. So 4A5 is the total of eligible as per GSTR-2B plus 4D1. Okay. Now in 4D2, it will contain the ineligible ITC due to time limit and POS as reported in GSTR-2B. So GSTR-2B total ITC is split between 4A5 and 4D2. So let's look at it in the form as a whole. So ITC eligibility as reported in GSTR 2B. If it is yes, it may be eligible when it fulfills all the section 16 conditions, and it might be ineligible. So eligible, if you are availing in this month, it will go to 4A5, and if you are not availing it in the current month, you are reversing it temporarily, it will be in 4A5, but you will also provide that amount in 4B2. If it is ineligible, the amount will be in 4A5. You will also be reporting it in 4B1. So total ITC would be your 4A minus 4B. Okay, if it is reported as no in GSTR-2B, it will be in 4D2. It will directly go into 4D2. Okay, important points to note. Credit deferred to future periods reporting methodology in availing month 4B2 reported earlier. When availed has to be reported in 4A5 and 4D1. So whatever you had reversed earlier and now reclaiming it, it will be added to 4A5 and shown in 4D1 as well. So control checks. So just to make sure that you are reporting correctly. So all the reversals made in 4B2 for earlier periods should not exceed 4D1. So whatever you have whatever you are reclaiming cannot exceed what you have reversed earlier. Now, if you are looking at 4A5 auto-populated in GSTR-2B, it will be current month reported 4A5 minus 4D1. Okay, so the total is, if you look at it from another perspective, 4A5 is eligible as per 2B plus 4D1. So the total credit will be 4A5 plus 4D2, eligible directly auto-populated in 4A5 and ineligible auto-populated in 4D2. Okay. Handling of temporary credits. How do you handle temporary credits in GSTR-2B but eligible in next month? So some of these situations are, so vendor has uploaded goods services, vendor has uploaded the invoice in his GSTR1, but you have not received the goods or services. Material, you have received the material, but it is pending approval or rejection by the purchase department or management for quality or other issues. Invoice not received by the account departments or not updated, etc. In this situation, you might not want to claim the ITC for that invoice that is coming in your GSTR-2B. So in that case, it will be in 4A5 and you'll make a temporary reversal and report it in 4B2. Okay, so month in which when you are accounting it in your books or claiming it, it will be reported in 4D1 and the amount will also be added to 4A5. Okay, now let's look at it with an example. Okay, so if you, let's say you have received an invoice worth rupees 150, sorry, where the tax is 150, but you have not received the goods. So the amount has come in 4A5 and you are temporarily reversing it. So you will report it in 4B2. Your net ITC will be 0. Now in month 2, when you have received the goods, you are claiming the ITC. So it will go, you will report it in 4D1 and it will also go in 4A5. So your net ITC comes to 150. Now Venu sir will take over from this example.
So here is one example just for us to understand how the reporting comes. So most of the information will get auto-populated, like whatever you are seeing here, it automatically gets auto-populated onto your GSTR-3B. And here only look at the 4A5, 2 lakhs IGST, 1.5 lakhs CGST, 1.5 lakh SGST. Let's look at how we will deal with the adjustments. So I have listed some 5 different scenarios, just explaining where the data gets reported. Next slide. Let's take scenario number 1 is in that 4A5 which you have seen, there is a 2 lakh amount. There is an ITC IGST which is ineligible under 17 subsection 5. 50,000 ka ineligible ITC. In the normal course, we wouldn't have been reporting under 4A5. We would have directly reported under 4D2. But now you will continue to report under 4A5. Now what happens next? That's the question. So what do we do? Because it's already there in 4A5, I have to reverse. It is a credit not eligible to me. Where do I reverse? I would reverse it by reporting in 4B1. B for Bangalore. Why 4B1? Because this credit will never be eligible. It can never come back. Let's look at second example. In terms of rule 42 and 43, I have to reverse, let's say IGST from 75,500, 52,000 CGST, SGST. Where do I report this? Even rule 42, 43, all those T1, T2, T3, all these credits are also ineligible credits. When I say ineligible, you will not recur it and take it back. Because this is also a reversal permanent in nature, you will report it in 4B1. Situation 3 is ABC has not received supplies in April, though it is auto-populated in AFI. 10,000 ka ITC, it is there in 4A5, but mal aaya nahi mere paas. If I don't receive the goods, technically I should not avail the input tax credit because 16 subsection 2, the first condition says you should have received the goods or services. And that is what the example which Bharti has given in the earlier slide, saying that you reverse it and claim the credit the month in which you have received. So where do I reverse? Now, this reversal is a temporary in nature. You will re-evaluate at a later point in time. Hence, you will reverse it in 4B2. the situation 4 is, we know 16 subsection 2, the third proviso read with rule 37 says, you have to pay to your supplier within 180 days. 6 महीने के अंदर हमें invoice date से आगे supplier को pay करना है. अगर I am not making the payment to the supplier, so the credit which I have taken उसको reverse करना पड़ेगा. If I have to reverse the credit, can I not take it? Even after 10 years, 10 साल के बाद भी आपने pay कर दिया customer को, you can take the credit. So, if you are eligible to take the credit, then that means this reversal is temporary. Anything which is temporary, you will report it in 4B2. The last situation is in your GSTR-2A, there are credits where the place of supply is of not your state, or GSTR-1 filed by the supplier is beyond the September due date. This portal itself will mark as ineligible and report it in your 4D. Now let's look at where all this gets reported. Next slide. So if you see it, the 4B1 is used for rule 42, 43 and 17 subsection 5. The scenario 1 and 2 is reversed here. Scenario 3 and 4, where the goods not received or the payment which is not made, is reported in your 4B2. The net ITC that is eligible is your 4A minus 4B. That is the net input tax credit that you are eligible for. The net input, that is what you are eligible for, the net input tax credit. Yeah. Next slide. If you see in your 4D2, there is a credit which is not eligible because of 16.4 RPOs, that is automatically reported in 4D2. So 4D2 plus 4B1 is the total input tax credit that would be visible in GSTR-3B. In fact, there is a question which Rajesh was asking, that can I use 4D1 for the first year of the transit, first month of the transition? I would say yes. April, May, June. I have not availed some credit for various reasons. It was there in my 2B. Can I avail now? Answer is yes. Will I get a notice? Of course, 2B in the current month is 0 or nothing, but you are availing some credit. So that is what you will report in 4D1. Rajesh, I hope your question is clear. I have listed some more issues that will come up. Next slide. So it is possible, next slide, Bharat. It is possible that you will have various challenges that will come. Starting with the transition, past credits that you have not availed, which you want to avail now. There is no clarification. All the points that I have listed here, there is no clarification circular issued. I am saying it out of our past experience, the best way to handle and defend your case when a notice comes. All right. So the past credits that you are availing now, I request you to report it in 4A5 and 4D1. If you have credits that you have availed erroneously in the past and that you want to reverse now, these reversals you will be doing in 4B1. If you have any errors in the current period where you are reporting bookkeeping errors, then you will have to obviously correct it. Like 10,000 rupees, I would have entered as 1 lakh rupees. That dot missed out. Error is human. Kuch bhi ho jata hai. What do? Make sure in the next month you correct it. We have circular 26/26 for 2017 issued in December 2017 will be of helpful to take those corrections. Next, very important. Let's say I did not avail a credit, like I have purchased a motor vehicle and it is an ineligible credit. I have already reported in 4B1. For some reason that supply was cancelled. Supplier has issued a credit note. Then that credit note, you will not again reverse it in 4B1 because you have not availed the credit at the first instance. You got to be careful when this auto-populated information comes, when the credit note is not availed or there is a downward amendment of the invoice that happens, you got to be careful. The last aspect, if there is a credit in books of accounts, मैंने माल खरीदा है, but it is not visible in GSTR-2B. What do I do? Do nothing. You have no choice. You cannot do anything if you don't have any credit visible in 2B. Effective Jan this year, 16 subsection 2AA doesn't permit you to take a credit if it is not there in 2A or 2B. So friends, you've got to be very careful while you're doing it. Next slide. Let's look at a demo of how we will do the filing of GSTR-3B using GSTZen and how we will be using the new format. How do we do the data entry and file? Yes, Bharti.
Okay, so now moving on, I'll be showing you the filing as per the current method, and then Venu sir will be taking you to the filing with the new method. So this is a GSTZen. Okay, once you have logged in, so this will be your dashboard wherein all the GST numbers that you add to your account will be visible. To file GSTR1, select the GST number and through the quick actions menu, go to file GST returns. Okay. Therein, click on GSTR-3B and select the month for which you want to file. Okay. So there are various methods which can be used to file or calculate GSTR-3B in GSTZen. So either you can use OTP or username password, and there are 4 methods. GSTR-3B payload can be calculated using the full year sales and purchase register. The full year sales and purchase register will be compared with what has been filed for GSTR-3B till date, and whatever remains will be used for calculation of GSTR-3B. In the second method, monthly sales and purchase register. So whatever you upload in GSTZen as this month's sale or purchase will be used to calculate GSTR-3B. Then in the third method, it can be used, GSTR1 and GSTR-2B will be used for calculation of 3B. And in the fourth method, we download the auto calculated GSTR-3B by the portal. Okay, so either OTP or username password can be used. Now I'm downloading the auto calculated GSTR-3B for this month. So this is the GSTR-3B that has been calculated by the portal. If I click on fill, I can change the details. Whatever is provided here, I can change the details. This is as per the method that has been going on. GSTR outward table 3.1 is outward supplies. Then table 4 is ITC. So you have import of goods, services, inward supplies liable to reverse charge, supplies from ISD and all other ITC. So this is as per the old method. So this is all other ITC, and the reverses is in B, and ineligible ITC in 4D. So as per section 70, subsection 5, if I'm giving something here, let's say 500 rupees, it will be ineligible ITC. So all other ITC is my eligible ITC. Okay. So now whatever changes I've made, I can save and go back. I can directly upload it from here or download the JSON and upload it to the GST portal. I can download the PDF and check how the data is going to the GST portal and in which tables will it be reported. Okay, once this is done, the next step is to upload it. So uploading it to the GST portal, it takes a few seconds. Okay, so next step is challan creation and offset of GSTR-3B liability. So GSTZen uses an algorithm wherein you end up paying the least amount of cash and you utilize all the ITC available optimally. So if you are sometimes you end up not using all of your ITC and paying more cash, so which takes it out from your working capital. So in order to avoid that, we have an algorithm so that decreases, so wherein you end up paying the least amount of cash. Okay, so you can download the summary which is uploaded and then offset the facility. If you have ITC, you can offset or you can create a challan and make the payment. So the last step is filing. So either it can be filed using EBC or DSC. So this can be filed. Okay, so now moving on. So we also have a tool called autopilot. So whatever functions I've done for one GST number can be replicated for all GST numbers at one go. So if I go to autopilot and I want to file GSTR-3B, I select here, file with OTP or username password, and all the steps that are available that I have done for one GST number, I can perform for multiple GST numbers at a time, so that I won't be spending the same time. I won't be wasting my time on doing the repetitive procedures for all the GST numbers.
Friends, look at this very carefully. This is what I have said that Bharati is expert in. Now, 14 GSTNs, 8 she has selected and filing 3B in one go. You might have a situation where you have given it to your team members to upload sales register, purchase register, everything is done. So you just want to offset liability and make the payment. All those things are happening. Yes, well, sorry to.
Okay, no issue. Yeah. So you can create challan and see one if you're using username password, all of the usernames and passwords will be saved in your browser, and all what you'll have to do is input the captcha and you can log in and create challans and make payments. Okay, so all these functions for multiple GST numbers you can perform at one go from here. Okay, so now moving on, Venu sir will be showing you the changes, how it will reflect in GSTZen when the changes are implemented and filing of GSTR-3B with these changes.
Right. So now let's look at in the new GSTR-3B filing regime, what is that change that would happen and how, if you are using the filing, how we will be doing it. Sishir, can you just share the screen? Now, here is your the data auto-populated from the government portal. Let's say 15,637 is the value that has been auto-populated. If you see on the top, 4A, 1, 2, 3, 4 is there. The 5 is missing. That is the value which is actually auto-populated. Now, out of 15,637.52, let's say some 2,637.52 is ineligible credit. Sishir, can you enter in 4B1 2637.52? 2637.52. Yeah, now you can actually see 13,000 is the credit, that is what you are availing. 13,000 rupees is the credit that you are availing. So there was a question that was asked that, okay, if the new GSTR-3B on the portal is not changed, which is the method I'll use, old one or new one? Friends, in any method you are using, the net ITC that you are eligible to take is what you are taking. In my view, you should still report the new method because the notification 14/2022 is live, so you have to use the new method. So all the eligible, ineligible got reported in the auto-populated, and you have shown for 267 ineligible there. As our friend Rajesh has asked the question that what will I do with the earlier period credit? which I have not taken. Can I do it now? All the earlier period, the credit, let's say some 5,000 rupees. Now, right now, 13,000 is the credit that is being taken. But actually, there is a 5,000 rupees credit which I have not availed in the past, which I want to avail it now. So that I would be reporting in 4D1. So let's enter 5,000 rupees in 4D1. Automatically, you can see my net ITC that is available has become 18,000. So GSTZen has an ability to automatically calculate what is the amount of the credit that you intend to take and what you are taking. And this value automatically gets reported into the government portal. So this is the new change that has come, and that is what we would like to demonstrate to you. And we are open to present both old and new method of filing. Filing in this month is of your choice. GSTN has given an advisory. Till they make a change, you can use the old method. And another point I would like to mention is the net ITC, which is 4C, is what you should be mindful of. Yeah. Thank you, Sishit, and thank you, Bharti. Now let's take any questions that are there. So RCM invoices present in the books as supplier is not registered will not reflect in 2B. What values to be reported in 3B? 2B values or book values? Riddhi sir, in case of RCM invoices, whatever which is reported in 2B is only 9 subsection 3 supplies. 9 subsection 4 supplies will not be reported. Even in 9 subsection 3, if the supplier is not registered, even those will not be visible. So value that you have to report in your GSTR-3B is higher of your books and 2B. So Ashok asked, how do I do accounting for the missing credits? Ashok, for the missing credits, all that I would say is have a control ledger. Transfer from input CGST to the electronic credit ledger, or you can call it as a 3B. And the bill-wise reference, what is matching, what is pending, will automatically show you how much of the credits have been parked, which you have to speak to the dealers at a later point in time. Question from Rajesh: if we return the goods to the supplier in 1 month, but we receive the credit for the same in the later months, how to report in 3B? So Rajesh, if I am receiving and purchases now, I have returned in the same month, but the supplier has reversed it in the next month. The credit note is coming in the next month. No issue. You report in 4A5 and 4B1. Absolutely no worries. Import of goods is not fetched in 3B. Shall I take ITC or not? Question by Shamsuddin. Shamsuddin, if you have your bill of entry available, in the bill of entry, you can definitely, you enter the bill of entry, data can be fetched from your GSTR-3B. To 2A and from 2A to 2B. Just in case if it is not visible also, no issues. Rule 36(1) permits you to take an input tax credit basis bill of entry as a document. You can take the credit. Yes. So Balaji, are you planning for a e-invoice webinar in the upcoming weeks? Yes, Balaji. Since 3B is the focus we have taken it, I have given you a very brief from April, 1st October 2022. E-invoice is applicable for people whose turnover is more than 10 crores. We are going to have a series of e-invoice sessions. Please do attend, and it's mandatory. If you don't do e-invoice, your recipients, customers will be in trouble. You will have a non-compliance. Question from Pradeep: vendor credit note presently appearing in ITC reversed. Yeah, so we have addressed the credit note. All right. Any questions? Anyone wants to unmute yourself and ask, or you can put your questions in the chat. That's great. Bharti, last slide.
Hi, yeah, we would like to integrate the e-invoicing in the software.
Yes, Mr. Suresh. Yes, GSTZen has tools that can APIs which can help you to integrate your software with GSTZen. If your technical team can actually connect, you can see the coordinates on the screen. You can reach us on that the number, and team from our GSTZen will help you to integrate. If you have a standard applications like Tally or a standard SAP, you will be able to get connectors. They are already there. We will show a demo. If you have completely a proprietary software you built in-house, we have a database integrator where we will be integrating with the database. So we have flavor of various things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Venkat, PPT will be shared. We will be sharing you the presentation on your registered email ID. You will be getting a presentation. Arul, I get that you are also facing the issues by the officer or notices without considering debit note, credit note. Yes, you definitely need to have a proper tracking of the credits. Yeah. What's anything we have to say? We can conclude the session. One private question on the private chat. Can the auto-populated values be modified? Yes, you can modify the auto-populated values. Definitely.
Sir, if there are no questions, I think we can, no more questions, I think we can conclude, sir.
I should thank Vatsa for beautifully managing the sending the mail communication reminders and setting up the whole event. Should thank GSTZen for doing a knowledge sessions to the customers, and Bharti, the most who has prepared the whole presentation and very lucidly explained it to you all. And definitely you all, I know it's a working day and you have taken your time out and you have attended the session. I hope it is knowledgeful and useful. Still you have any doubts, feel free to write to us on support@gstzen.in. Thank you very much. Good day.
Thank you, sir.